And this podcast
And
did
that
start out as about us, reminiscing about old times, talking about new times. So,
and she was quite the gamer herself, right? So
LUV.
that's right. That's right. Oh my god, I remember that.
Okay.
And I'm gonna start doing our names as like gamer tags. So yours is gonna be Matt with the @ sign, and I'm gonna use
Ah.
like how you gave me mine gamer tag all those years ago. Yep. And I figured like not only is that a good callback to when we were kids, but it's a gamer tag. It's a gaming centric podcast.
It's true. It is. You'll have to refresh me. What? It was just end with letter 8?
Yes, sir.
Simple. Two.
very,
I mean,
very good.
well, mine could also be two symbols, just the M and the @ sign, I suppose.
Yep.
All right. That was a recording I did. Let's stop listening to that.
I don't see the screen. I don't. You're not screen sharing quite yet, but we don't need to do that necessarily right now. Well, let's go ahead and get the show on the road. Are we live?
We are live.
All right. Well, I suppose we can do a cold open as we normally do. That's right, Matt. We are back for another episode of what?
Well, you start. I could start.
Oh,
You always you start. I end if you start it. But you want me to start?
go ahead.
Give
Me,
the
controller.
hey.
Hey, that's right. We are two brothers, and we are too far away, and we were too bored during quarantine. So here we are now. We are indeed we're doing video game playthroughs and talking about our past a little bit and our experiences with video games as we grow up. Matt, what do we have? What are we playing this week?
This week we are still playing Final Fantasy IV. This is our
That's
sixth
right.
episode, and well, it's gonna take a lot more than six to get through this hunk of a beast.
Oh my God, it's this game. I forget how many hours long it is, but it's one of those that we played it when we were young, very young, and about when we were young. Uh, Today you mentioned it. It's our late mother's birthday, and we're not going to go too far into it. But she was a gamer, and for a long time, and coincidentally, that because she was a gamer, we got into games, and here we are.
Yeah, it goes back to even Yoshi's Cookies, and right?
I forgot about that.
Back on Nintendo, Dr. Mario. These were the early games. Dragon's Quest, Legend of Zelda, Metroid. Those were the
Metroid.
staple
Oh
we
man.
had growing up, and if not for support of mom, and even our dad got us an Atari. There was
Yeah.
what is it, the Empire Strikes Back game. There was Pac-Man. We had exposure, and it's just too bad that they never saw where games would go. And I can't really fault them for that because they didn't obviously have an upbringing that had that, nor did they have the market sense to understand what this technology could do. Because who knows what our involvement would be beyond, me making RPG Maker and you writing a podcast. But that's neither here nor there. Our parents were kind enough to let us explore this digital world, and certainly without our mom, um, we wouldn't be where we are with Final Fantasy series and many other things in life. So yeah, this one's for her.
Well, Mama's a big supporter of good art, and I remember when Final Fantasy VII was originally released in 1997. She responded by I remember you being sick when I forget how old we
That was our
were.
freshman year, I think.
Yeah, and I wanted to get sick so I could play Final Fantasy VII, and she said no.
All it takes is a little cough. Shouldn't joke about that.
But I remember her, looking at I think it was Bahamut Zero and saying, "Whoa, That's really
I
cool.
think for me it was, well, Ifrit in that game was cool. You had Knights of the Round. I mean, those kind of things. And of course, actually, I think Final Fantasy 7 was the first game we saw with computer generated graphics to the level.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously you have
yeah.
cutscenes in previous games, but they're
Computer sciences, man. STEM fields. We didn't understand, the science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Analytica is now going to be start considering art, so it's going to be STEAM fields.
I'm versed in that.
Right. So what's interesting is that if people would have understood information a little more when we were developing in the 90s, I think people would have appreciated gaming and game design and programming and all the overhead that goes into it, because it's not just nerds making preaching to the choir by developing games that the choir would like. It turns out that you're so many jobs are being developed for one IP, and those places that those jobs are at, those communities are amazing now. Last episode, Sacramento. We found out that Sacramento ended up being the home of SquareSoft. Now look at what AAA developer has a home base in Sac? EA, Electronic Arts. And with a property like Star Wars Squadrons coming out, and also the new Madden, which got a special look at the IGN Summer of Gaming Awards yesterday. Wow. I am not only impressed, but I do see why people literally move to where the job is, because what they want to do for their living, they literally can do it. It just takes, packing up and possibly
Yeah,
changing
and
their life.
certainly there's an economic impact, which you're right to point out and applaud to a degree. There's also the social impact. You look at what culturally games have done for maybe disenfranchised groups that aren't represented well in other media. They can get
Mm,
a voice in video games, and because of the prolific nature of
yeah.
video games, anyone can access that voice. And we talk about Last of Us 2, and you've mentioned that there have been
Yep.
controversies around that, certain representations that some people may not be comfortable with, but games can push an envelope, and that's the purpose of art. Art can be economic and art can be culturally impactful.
Yes. Art is, well, we talked about this at Iron Horse pretty extensively, actually. For those of you that don't know what Iron Horse is, some of the best bubbles, sparkling California sparkling you'll ever have. But we started this conversation of playthroughs and kind of the really early on idea of what Give Me the Controller was, and it kind of evolved into something. It took on a life form of its own, just because we were discussing the merits of art and how to measure art and what is and is not art, because gaming is one of those mediums that it's a lot of different art forms at once, and it can be viewed from a lot of different artistic lenses and engineering lenses as well, and narrative lenses. So there's a lot of components that macro and micro components that are and elements that are all behave. I don't want to say behaving, but existing. However, the individual that's at the wheel gets to choose how it
And
exists
I think that's
and in
also
what
true
capacity.
of a lot of art. I don't know if it's a good measuring stick, but can it be interpreted by different audiences? Can it say something different to different people? That's always been sort of a loose rule I've used, between something that's utilitarian and not art for me, and something that is art for me. And so again, that's my definition. It doesn't always work, but when I look at something that is a technical manual, for instance, I look at that with different merits as opposed to a poem by Robert Frost. And word choice there is it different, and there's certainly intentionality to both of them, but one is conveying information, while one I think is conveying a concept to be filtered through your own personal lens. So
Yeah, it's not necessarily just information. It's not text on a page. It's beyond the narrative, right? It's beyond the scope in which it was designed to be
yep,
viewed as. And that you could say the same about a painting. Look at the Sistine Chapel. that ceiling, it's one of the most interactive paintings for a reason because you literally have to do this.
Yes. So presentation obviously is key.
Yeah, so sure, there's not a controller, and which you're having someone look at it through a camera, and or however the mechanics and the operation systems occur, but your eyes and yourself is
Exactly.
the
No, you're exactly
controller.
right.
So
So in a
it's
video game, as I can control to a large degree the pace at which you move through the game, especially if you have, for instance, an old school RPG to RPG like Final Fantasy IV, where you have to either hit certain capstones to move to the next screen, or you physically have to move the controller over to it, and so the amount of distance you have is the amount of player view space. But I think even an accomplished artist could do the same thing, like the Sistine Chapel. Depending on what elements you throw up there for the eye, you can control subtly
mm,
the way the eye moves around and the pace it moves around, and that's very similar to what you can do in a video game.
video games, man. Without our mother, I don't think we'd be the same gamers or the same people that appreciate art as we do.
Without our
So
mother, we might not
thanks,
exist.
mom. Well, that's very true. But thanks, mom. Love
So
you.
on
Miss
that
you.
note, let's get at the game.
Baby Yoda fell.
Oh no. Here we go. There's our file. 4 hours in.
We are back. It's nice to be here. Hello, everybody. Should we do a recap before we
Oh, you're
press
right. We
on
can do
real
it right
quick?
now since we're going to be going down and around.
Yeah,
So last
I
time,
don't mind.
one of the most, I think, for us, one of the seminal moments of the game. Uh, Cecil's crew was sailing back from the castle, Yang's castle, and was going to try and sneak into Castle Baron to take down Golbez, take down the king if need be. Unfortunately, the Leviathan attacked the ship, causing Rydia to fall overboard, causing Yang to jump after her, causing Edward to fall down, and then everything kind of spiraled out of control. Cecil wakes up on a beach, no one around him.
That's right.
We make our way to a small town. We find out that it's Mysidia, the town introduced at the beginning of the game, where Cecil took the crystal. No one there likes him. I got turned into a frog. I got turned into a pig. Spider pig. But I did meet two young wizards, mages, I don't know, arcanists, who joined me on a quest to rid myself of the darkness so that I could face the darkness that is the mysterious figure Golbez. Because apparently dark can't fight dark, only light can fight dark.
I wonder if that trope, because even Iroh says something like that. If I were to take on my brother, I don't think I could. The people would only see a brother fighting a brother. So it's similar in that vein. I think that was kind of one of the ideas of the light and dark is that it needs to be what needs to be um, what needs to be applied is not just evil beating other evil to take its place. 'Cause like Hydra, cut off one head to take its place.
Man, you just connected
So,
to two properties?
but the thing is, everyone uses it. You've written books, right? So I'm sure that you've had a version of uh, good and evil, or there's two parties, whether good or evil, trying to achieve the same thing.
Obviously, it's a more satisfying message for me. I can't say obviously for me, but for me, it's a more satisfying message when light beats dark, not when dark beats dark. I've never been drawn to the anti-hero, as some people are. Um,
Right.
so, eh, I'd rather, yeah, for me,
Well,
it's nicer.
like Abby in The Last of Us 2 for that reason, because she's not an anti-hero, but neither is Ellie, but they're both kind of villains. So how do you measure anti-heroism or anti-heroinism?
That is an excellent question. I don't know.
And because revenge plots they're evil. Vengeance is evil. It leads. It's a path. It's a tool, yes, but it's a path to the dark side. Man, I'm making all the
Yeah.
references today.
When you mentioned Avatar, where I thought you were gonna go was the end, where the lion turtle tells Aang to control the Bendy of another. You must first master the Bendy within yourself, which I think is a really
Indeed.
cool quote. So, they're stiff. It's very cold. Okay.
You're
All right, back
gross.
to the game.
All right. All right.
So, we skipped over um, getting back to Mysidia.
Uh huh.
So
Mysidia.
here we are.
Midia.
We have turned to a paladin. We have cast the darkness from us. I don't know if that comes up again, to be fair. So I guess I'm just like, nope, I'm not bad anymore. To be fair, I don't think I was very bad to begin with. Anyway, we got Tella, the white light that made me paladin, also cured Tella's Alzheimer's. So he now remembers all of his spells. And I can
It's somehow the light somehow did that.
do that.
Doesn't make much sense.
Let's see which item I'm missing of paladin gear, because now I can finally outfit myself with everything. I need the body of a paladin.
That's right. One of the best parts of RPGs and I'm a little biased, but with JRPGs, but the armor that you can get is if you have the money for it, if you took all that time to grind or however you did it. Oh god, it makes it so much easier.
And
I hate having to redo levels over and over and over and over.
I don't think
I remember playing Mario RPG at mom's back home in Oregon and Enterprise, and I remember I forget the character's name, but killed me like 3 times, and it was right before dinner, and I lost, and I started crying.
life's rough, man.
Like that game was hard.
Oh, look, so they have reacted to my dialogue now. So the variable that determines my class. So if classic was Dark Knight, they'll have
Yep.
one dialogue. If classic was Paladin, different dialogue. So there we go.
Boom.
But what is the spirit of Paladin? Okay.
Probably like goodness, doing good for goodness's
Yeah,
sake.
but nothing was really. I feel like none of that was really talked about. Oh.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. There is pain. All right. So here we have returned to the old man who gave me Paladin Emporum, two of the most memorable characters from this game.
What?
I do understand. Not exposition. Ah, here we go.
On the sword.
A little more exposition. Well, the sword is called Legend.
Oh, whoa! That's the inscription.
It's very small font. Well, maybe actually, sorry. He said the sword's inscription was similar to the Mysidian legend. That may have been the Mysidian legend. The sword may have said something like Lightbringer or Cleansing Light, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Nor do we ever talk about it again.
Yep. Yeah, it's. I love that kind of early on. You get a massive character development and a shift in perspective, and I suppose choices that the character would make. However, like we don't hear about You know, when this all first started, it's not even like a cheesy line of dialogue. Nothing. It's just it moves forward. Not that there's pace problems, but it just keeps moving forward without referencing anything
Right.
else. You know, take your time and reflect.
I like that Tella knows Medio, but I don't have the MP to cast Medio.
Maybe the magic points are somehow, you know, companion to your life force that you can use a spell. However, it might cost you
Yeah, here it says you are in no condition to use Medio. Thus, I think that gives credence that there is a physical.
a toll.
You got to pay the troll toll.
Oh man, I hit the driving range up yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh man, it felt so good. But after I worked out, did my usual uh, workout, the full body, dude, I'm so sore all over my body. I woke up and was like, oof, I feel really stiff.
Nope. The kids want to stay with me. Papa Cecil. Oh, there's that monster again.
That's right, fascial gun.
Hold on. It said the Mount Ordeals accepted Palamaporum and returned them. Maybe they should go with me after all. Did the elder send the kids with me knowing they could die? Oh, and now he wants me to look after them.
Wow, yeah, like why would you do that to those kids? Was that kind of their test too?
I suppose. I mean, obviously they handle themselves pretty well.
Yeah, it's like Tony Stark, you know, and MCU, like kids are getting killed. I'm gonna go hire a kid.
Here's an interesting piece of information. The elder said the Serpent Road is to the right of the town. To the right.
That's where you have
Not
to go
on the
next.
east side, not on the west side, but to the right side, which means as I exit, where is Cecil's right? So if I go that way, there's some water over there. There's the weapon and armor shops. There's this building.
it's
Maybe it's this building.
it's it's fascinating that the story starts where a huge change occurs for Cecil, and because of that change, or rather where it occurs and how it occurs, the plot really develops, and we grow to really care about all the characters, which is why when a major event occurs later on, that's why it is so memorable, because where it starts and where Cecil changes the most, and that's where you pick up and acquire some plot points and characters that later on go through something pretty devastating. It's really fascinating to use that as a plot device, that because that major plot beat is integrated to his character development. It's key
Mm-hmm.
at this point.
Mm-hmm.
His relationship with children, it's somehow it's a really good use of the tool, like kids bringing out the best in you. And with The Last of Us 2, we got to see that one of the characters, Lev, who is actually played by a transgender male. Uh, you know, authenticity and Naughty Dog is, you know, supportive of individuals. That this character's gender identity, but also how we get to the interesting, really helps us appreciate the writing and the characters and what they're going through, and the Final Fantasy 2 really does that with each scene where there's those really big moments.
I got you. Okay, so what I was meaning to say was that the bit of dialogue that the elder gave about it being on the right hand of the screen only works for the player who views the screen from the right, as opposed to Cecil, whose right is constantly changing.
Yeah.
So it's interesting why they chose to reference the player as opposed to any other direction that the character may know. Sort of pulls you out of the narrative a little bit.
Right. Right.
Okay, Snake Road. This
Here
is a
we
very
go,
effective means of travel. Look at this.
dude. I wish we had that
Why don't we just
now.
use this to get
That's
to Mysidia?
Mysidia has a hyperloop. How did they do that?
Okay, what are airships? Is a hyperloop really that questionable?
Right? Do you just materialize, or is like a tube?
Materialize. Oh, I need to heal myself. Hey, look, I'm back. So is it more like
There you
maybe
go.
like Star Trek, where you dematerialize and materialize?
Yeah.
Good question.
It's fascinating science because I don't know. I don't know how to transfer matter from one place to another without having some kind of vehicle.
Oh, my buddy Sid was arrested. Wah, wah.
Oh shoot!
This is that room with Naming Way or Naming Way. Yep.
Oh yeah, man. This is that's right. I remember everything's about to go down. You about to fight your boy,
But first,
and that's really early. That's really early on. I thought it was like halfway through the game.
maybe we're farther than we think we are.
That's very possible. Maybe
There's a lot more to go on still.
it's like Final Fantasy VII when you like by halfway through disc 2, you're like, wow, this is really moving along.
My gosh, Disc 2. You remember the days of Discs? Disc 2?
Yeah.
Gosh,
Oh
hunger.
wow. But now we're in those days of episodes. You know, episodic releases are a big
Yep.
thing.
Soldiers are acting terribly here. The nerve of them. Sid's building a new airship. Refreshments. I don't bring refreshments. I am the refreshments.
I am.
So obviously, brainwashing here, which gives credence to what everyone's saying about the king being brainwashed by Golbez. Okay, boss fight. Oh,
Oh no.
oh my gosh, ease up on the poor kids.
Why are you fighting in a hotel? Can't you just take this outside?
And they got magics. They got magics. Oh, that sucks. I think.
Yeah, I think
Oh snap.
the idea of Mako infused soldiers had always been a thing. And when when Final Fantasy VII was originally written, so I think this team of writers, Hironobu Sakaguchi and Kenji Terada, I think they were kind of all sharing similar ideas that everybody that was serving the evil was somehow enhanced, and not just with magic necessarily, through whatever scientific means. Because if Yang is brainwashed, then what's really going on?
Indeed. They just did 1,000 damage to him. That's substantial. Oh, big man. Big words.
Shut up. I always say shut up when I'm about to strike someone with a kick.
That's any kick. He went like 30 feet.
He must be able to do so many squats. Because if you're doing that, that's really explosive. So you gotta your legs are a powerhouse.
I think Yang is a powerhouse.
Well, the legs are the powerhouse of the body. So if you want to be strong, you have strong legs.
We wouldn't call the heart the powerhouse of the body?
I mean, it's definitely what pumps your blood. But if you didn't have a heart, then because you don't need a heart, you just need like an organism that's like whether it's biomechanical or completely mechanically engineered is entirely up to you. But if it just moves your blood, you're fine. and sends electrical signals, so it does need to be biomechanical. Not not to mansplain, medical science.
Your brother's brain. Boom. Oh, down goes Ying. Up goes Ying.
What happened?
Well, he doesn't remember, Nate. Oh, so he was amnesiac, not manipulated? I find that hard to believe.
No way. Super easy. Better than inconvenience. Well, he's going to have amnesia. Ooh, and how did he get amnesia? Because he hit his head really hard on what?
Water.
Water.
I don't know.
But don't you just kind of end up almost drowning and struggling and possibly saving yourself? Not this time. He's going to hit his head, forget. So it's like the Bourne Identity. The what? Martial artist.
That same as Yang, huh?
He was in that silly movie, The Great Wall.
That's the name of it. Yeah, I was thinking the same movie.
With Pedro Pascal. It was actually pretty cool.
Oh, I should give that a watch.
Yeah, man. It's Din Djarin himself.
Palom's already in bed.
I'm tired.
Oh, wow. What a coincidence.
How did he have the key? Was that bait?
I mean, he has to get in and out, I guess, but you're going to trust the key to the kingdom with the guy who has amnesia? Don't you have loyal soldiers on your team right now?
Oh, so how's he going to get the key? Well, you see, these guys
carrying the key.
This army particularly just trusts anyone that has amnesia because they think they can use him like a puppet. A puppet? Yeah, like on strings. Oh, puppets on strings is tight.
All right. How far do I want to get into this? Oops. That's not going to work. To the town.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Are we recording? All right, perfect. All right, man. Here we go.
I got to talk to Sid's wife.
Oh.
Wait, this isn't Sid's wife. Who is this? Rosa's mom? Oh, whoops.
I got to talk to Sid's wife.
One of my favorite parts of this game right here. Ow, don't talk to the fire.
Ouch.
Where does Sid live? I forgot. Is he up here? Yeah. He's up here. So the houses aren't very European looking.
No, they look like what, Greek?
Something like Tuscan Raiders. I don't know. Like, yeah, they don't look, typical Tudor style or thatched roof or anything. Ying needs maybe some weapons.
Yeah, I might want to check what he's got.
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. You get nothing.
Are they selling claws here now? Oh. Does the key get me into the? Can I rob it? Should I rob it? Wait, they were locked inside? There we go.
Yeah, Square's headquarters is now San Francisco.
I didn't know that. Dang.
Mm-hmm.
I should have bought some karate. Oh, I still can. I bought karate. Yes. Oh, that's right. 'Cause I think when we actually were in Barren the first time, you couldn't come into these stores. They were locked, and we had no way of getting into them. So they were selling karate gear the whole time. Does anyone else have Cecil doesn't have any. Oh, he has Paladin. That's on his arms.
Yeah, Square Enix is a London-based, wholly owned subsidiary of Square Enix Holdings Company. So Square Enix Ltd is a London-based. Wow, that's fascinating. I had to look at getting into an LLC for my podcast company, but don't quite need it yet. Not until you're like cashing
Gotcha.
in.
So I picked up a Thunder Claw, which is good because I think I only bought a Fire Claw. Find out.
It's so cool. I wish I had those claws because
For
I
resin?
wish fire would come out of my
I don't
hands.
think that. Though I haven't used his claws as if they were castable items like you can with the rods. Maybe you can make fire. Here we go.
Are you gonna watch Hamilton when it comes out on Disney Plus?
I don't have Disney Plus.
Well, I do suggest it. Lin Manuel. I don't know if you ever heard about it on Broadway, but Lin Manuel Miranda did a damn good job. Seemed really exciting.
Okay. We did. I
Oh,
watched Guardians of the Galaxy the other night. Kenzie had a hankering.
oh man, Eric Voss from New Rockstars. He's a producer. That's his number one film, and he did a whole rewatch, broke every film down really in depth, and then rank order prioritized them, all the MCU
Oh, wow.
films, and rated Guardians Galaxy Volume 1 as the best film out of MCU, which I might not disagree with because I don't know how you take all those characters that are otherwise silly and make them not only work really well, but literally inspire generations of cosplayers and
I
fans.
just think it did the
So,
ensemble pretty well as far as introducing them, the dynamic between them. So as an ensemble film, which Marvel had only done through the Avengers up to that point, and had taken the time to establish each one of them in their own films. I think as an ensemble,
mhm.
it did an amazing job of giving us the arc of the character and the feel of the character without sacrificing, taking too much time or making it come off hollow. Ooh. As compared to Justice League, for instance, or Suicide Squad, which I feel did not do service to the characters, particularly Suicide Squad. I mean, we all know, by and large, the Justice League cast. So,
All right, we're back. A little more than a moment for us. Not no time for you at all.
speaking of ensembles, I guess you could look at every Final Fantasy game as an ensemble.
Every single one. Every single game. Final Fantasy 9. It's not my favorite, but they really took how an ensemble can be like kooky and like quirky, and the art, the animation was interesting, and they still made a really really fascinating story.
Yeah, regrettably, that one I didn't finish. I got to the last disc, and then that was the end of my time with it. So, who knows? Maybe my future. I highly doubt it at this point. Um,
I definitely want to replay Final Fantasy 8. I want to see that thing updated so badly because that story was so good.
yeah, and it also came at a seminal time in our lives. So, to a certain degree, you can't recapture that, and trying to go back to it might not work.
No, but I love Squall. He's so brooding.
So brooding.
He just broods everywhere.
He exudes brood.
Dude, he exudes the brood, bro.
Ooh, money. I don't think I really need money that much. Man, everyone loves my behind right now.
That's right.
I don't like the sewer levels in this game, or the cave levels.
No, I'm not a big fan of them either. Never really have been. It's not that they're not fun. I don't know. I'm like, eh.
I hear you.
They're all kind of samey, and I get that. It helps develop, other more important assets and cities and parts of the game, but eh,
I think I like being just outside because I don't mind the mountain levels. You know,
each one is different.
feels that way. But I don't like being underground. Maybe it's claustrophobia.
Even though you're not underground, you think you are because you're controlling something underground, so it makes you feel like you're under something.
Yes, you get it.
I, well, I feel that. That's how I react to and any especially The Last of Us. Like, sure, I'm watching a playthrough, or cutscenes, but it's still like, oh god, the clickers.
Say The Last of Us one more time.
No way, man.
Say it one more time.
The Last of Us. I'm attaching to those trends, bro.
You're gonna hashtag Last of Us to every episode you post on Twitter.
Maybe it's not a bad idea because it would, redirect traffic.
Well, but you don't want to take their hard-earned traffic and just give it to us. That's unearned traffic. We have nothing to do with The
I mean,
Last of Us.
it's called free media, man, and I don't know if you know that what the difference of paid media and free media is. One is much more effective.
One sounds like liberal, communist, freeloading. The free market is a beautiful thing, Nate. Now you can put Parks and Rec on there too.
Heck yeah, dude! I caught some of Adam Scott's new show, Don't.
Which one's that one?
It's a game show that he and Ryan Reynolds as a producer on it. Funny, but I don't like game shows all that much.
This is a game show.
That platform of game show, Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy is about the extent of my game shows.
Sure.
I might do Whose Line Is It Anyway isn't really a game show, but it's, if you want to consider it, then I'll put it, amongst the rank orders of game shows. But I don't know. What is it about the game show that it's either awesome or it's like, ugh?
I mean, I would say content, not to be flippant about it, but I'm not Price is Right. Just doesn't have the content that interests me.
Oh my god, that shit is. Oops, sorry, folks. That show is so noisy. It is so loud. I have to turn and I'm noisy and I'm loud. For me to say that about something else, ugh, that's far too much energy for me.
Yep.
But it's been around for 40 years now. Price is Right.
My God.
Here, I'll Google it.
There we go. Come on, analyst. Analyze.
Right. How many years? Yeah, Bob Barker began in '56
Oh my
as a television game show hosted by Bill Cullen. Was revamped in '72. This version was originally hosted by Bob Barker since '07. Drew Carey is host of the program, and the show contestants compete to win cash prizes by guessing the price of merchandise. So it's been around for, 64 years.
Next show can start collecting Social Security.
Well, it's say what you will about this is why I try not to speak ill of anything, because if it's been around for a long time, they have a formula that works, and they're providing a lot of jobs and have been for a long time, and it breeds fans and it brings families together, and people like to know about prices and markets, and next they probably also have a thing for gadgets and new stuff, right? Whether it's flash in the pan or not. It's one of those ways that you can like kind of like, you know what, maybe it is awesome. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I misunderstood it.
Maybe when you're
Because
in the nursing home, you'll be watching it.
right, exactly. So I don't want to demean game shows, but it's so easy because you have platforms like The Voice or American Idol, and as someone that plays music really well, uh, I always have been like I don't see the point in that. It's like, no, man, like maybe these people don't have what it takes to do open mics for years and be dismissed and booed and harassed and made fun of until your big break. Maybe, it's a good tool, different tools, different things. Maybe it's a good tool for success. It can really help, or it can help you learn what you need to focus on and apply it and keep hammering.
Hmm.
But it's so easy to be dismissive of someone else's hard work.
Yeah, or apparent lack thereof. I didn't see results. You didn't try. I mean that discounts so much about a person.
That's a really good point because when if results, um, results don't reflect how hard someone has worked, because you might work your ass off and not get the results you like for whatever reason, lack of interest, maybe it wasn't marketed well, or maybe it's just such a niche, whatever the thing is, maybe it's just so niche that finding the right audience is difficult because you just didn't have the know-how. Mind you, if you're being involved in that thing, maybe you should know. Not to say be a master at every aspect, but maybe understand that there's practices that you're not necessarily familiar with, and maybe those are the ones you're missing out on. And that's, I think, the game show model has evolved so much that certain game shows are doing what other ones don't. Hollywood Squares, I don't care who you are, that show is awesome.
Ooh, would you have counted Global Guts or Legends of the Hidden Temple as game shows?
Sure,
Yeah,
absolutely.
me
It's a
too.
game show. It's a game show platform, and that there's a new game show for young Star Wars fans. It's for kids, but like a Jedi Path, if you will. I forget. I'll Google it right now.
Excellent.
Uh, uh, Star
But I guess on the same
Wars.
line, America's Ninja Warrior would be considered also a game show.
Yeah, the Titan games too. Dwayne Johnson's new show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's this new Star Wars game show is actually, I want to see an adult version of it because Jedi Temple Challenge is the name of
Ooh, bringing it back. All
it.
right. Well, yeah, I
And
think this is like a good spot for us to stop, huh? Oh wait, let me just
yeah, what time is it there? You're almost 5.
almost 5. So I've been at this a good time. Just got the Ancient. Oh my.
Oh, dude.
Legend sounds so much cooler than Ancient. Sorry. Oh, it is.
I think
It is
so.
cooler. What? Why would I want this?
Yeah, right.
Bah, be gone with you. All right. Let's save it up here.
Absolutely. Yeah, Star Wars Jedi Temple Challenge official game show trailer, and that was the that I believe the first episode aired earlier. Yeah, earlier in June, and a lot of fun. And if it gets all, if it's diverse and not just ethnically, but get every gender involved, and every type of person from every corner of the world and culture, because why not?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Yep.
It's like Nickelodeon finally admitting that, well, not admitting, but releasing a statement that SpongeBob SquarePants is LGBTQ plus.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, it was released a few days ago, and now bigots are canceling SpongeBob where they can, in certain markets and regions, because you can't have queers teaching your kids.
Hmm. Unfortunate.
And
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and stop here for this playthrough. We made some good
absolutely.
progress.
there's some episodes, folks. Not all of them are gold, especially when we have technical issues. But the ones that we get a little off topic, we tend to have some fun conversation. However, with the game getting more and more advanced, the battles are getting more intense. So we're probably gonna be ending up talking a lot about spells more and mechanics and trying to navigate this game and not die.
Hey, we're doing a good job so far, man. Not a
Yeah.
single game over.
Oh
No
yeah.
grinding.
Yeah. Until we absolutely have to grind, and at that point, that's going to be more interesting coverage because then we'll really get into probably go beyond Final Fantasy 2 and just talk games and grinding at that
I
point.
mean, haven't we already gone beyond Final Fantasy 2?
But make those grinding episodes will be way less Final Fantasy centric.
Yeah, I agree. Well, so what's new, good in the game world?
Well, what is new? First of all, have you seen this game Pragmata?
No.
Oh my goodness! I have notes in front of me because post-its are important, kids. Pragmata. Let me just go ahead and pull it up because ever since I saw the trailer during the PlayStation State of Play, which Jordan and I did a react to. You can go check it out on Thinks and Drinks podcast, YouTube, or you can go to thinksanddrinks.squarespace.com. Pragmata was announced during the PlayStation State of Play, and it's from Capcom, and it looks beautiful, but also terrifying.
Well, that was interesting looking.
That looks fucking cool.
I
Sorry
mean,
about that.
I don't know enough about it to say it looks cool. Obviously, graphically stunning, but yeah, I didn't really get enough about it to.
Yeah, you don't really get much of a story. It's just one of those like, whoa, hype.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a good way to end it for me. Let's end on a hype note. Thanks
Oh
for.
man, and of course, but some real quick news: Cyberpunk 2077 got a bit of a playthrough, and so did Kena Bridge of Spirits during the IGN Summer of Gaming Awards. There was a special feature of Kena Bridge of Spirits, and the two brothers got to kind of explain the gameplay, how it works, and where they're at in the development process, because they're getting massive amounts of people hitting them up on Twitter, emails, you name it. Ember Lab, their game, Kena Bridge of Spirits, is the most highly anticipated game next to Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, and did you say two brothers?
Yeah,
There is another group of two brothers out there.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna go ahead and reach out to Ember Lab and see if I can do anything in terms of podcasting with them, if
Cool.
it's possible.
Yeah, if it's possible, you should lead with that.
Possible.
You should lead with that.
Hey,
That's cool.
that's right. Do you have anything that you want to plug, information, and anything that you're going to be watching that you want to share with the people? Happy 4th.
Well, watching, no. Happy 4th, yes, I'll be going out of town. But I picked up Stardew Valley, Heavy Rain,
Heavy Rain,
Two
Jesus.
Souls, and Detroit something, or Being Human, or whatever. Not Being
Become Human.
Become Human, yeah. On the
Yeah.
Spring Summer Sale. So I love that studio ever since I played Indigo Prophecy / Fahrenheit.
Yeah, I agree. All those titles are amazing. Heavy Rain.
I've played that
I
for 11 years.
I watched it and wow, that was amazing storytelling.
Yeah, so I'm looking for good story games. So I'll be doing those. Getting obviously, I didn't pick up anything new. I did pick up Arkham Knight because I like the Arkham series as far as
Oh,
superhero video
absolutely.
games go. So
There's not many games that can be better than Arkham Asylum.
Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's true. And especially with Miles Morales, that with that release coming out soon, that's going to be, not only is it going to change a lot of lives, but it's going to inspire new generations of Spider fans, Spider-Verse fans,
We call them webheads.
and absolutely, they're going to be flipping all over the place. What I have coming up, let's see. Well, Friday there's a Rocket Lab launch, an Electron launch, and from one of their New Zealand ports, and that's at 2 o'clock on Friday. So Jordan and I will be doing that. We're doing something special. It's our favorite space program to watch together. There's also it's the 4th of July. Happy 4th. We'll be attending my mother-in-law's house in Tiburon, California, because she's moving to Oregon. She bought a house.
Wow.
Yeah, everything's finished. John's been gone for some time now, so she's finally getting to go and move on. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to be doing some podcasting from a deck, watching the Golden Gate Bridge and listening to it sing now, because it sings, because there were these weird railings installed. So now you can hear it all the way from the East Bay.
What?
Yeah. Oh my dude, you got to check it out. It's really fascinating because the design it wasn't intended necessarily to do that. They thought it might, but now there's a lot of people like, dude, I'm trying to sleep.
Oh my gosh, I haven't heard about that. I'll look into that. All right, well, you have a good 4th, Nate.
Absolutely, man. It's going to be YouTube, bro. This was a lot of fun. And happy birthday to all the July babies out there, of course.
Hey, that's you.
Yeah, 33. We'll be doing a special episode where we may not be playing. We may just be hanging out and talking and having drinks. I haven't decided yet.
You haven't decided? I guess it is
Yeah. For my birthday episode, absolutely. It's up to me.
do 2 things. We can have this and then also do a meetup with more people. Get Jordan on it.
That's true. Yeah, that we can do a multi-pod. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. The weekend's going to be dope. I love you, and you take care. And this has been another episode of Give. Oh, Give.
Am I doing it first? Are you doing it first?
Go ahead. Go ahead. You start.
Give
Me
the
controller.
Oh,
and I've been
dark.
Nate, and you stay great.
Happy 4th of July, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Nate. Love you, bro.
Love you too, champ.